The final Jersey City Board of Education meeting of 2014 was a quiet but important night for the future of the district. The Jersey City Education Association, minus a handful of teachers, were absent from the meeting, which recognized the service of departing BOE members Angel Valentine, Carol Harrison Arnold, and Bertram Oakpoke Wasili. The entire Children's First team from the past election spoke, highlighting agenda items dealing with the approval of a Harvard Leadership Resident Program, funding for the JCPS Leadership Institute Principal Residency Program, as well as inquiries regarding Jersey City students opting out of PARCC testing. Lorenzo Richardson, who will be a member of the board at the next meeting, said Jersey City Public Schools had nothing to learn from Harvard University. School Superintendent Dr. Marcia Lyles countered by saying the district needed to broaden our horizons and that students will be subject to more than Jersey City in life.
For someone to come here about educational leadership, and clearly, I don't think there's anybody from Harvard who can come and tell us what we need to do about Jersey City's public schools. I'm just sorry about that. I don't think there's anything they can add to the equation. We can tell them what's going on, and maybe they can come up with some solutions and go around the country and gather some data. But to pay this person $90,000 plus benefits is absurd. And we don't have proper food in the classrooms, like I said, and we don't have books in some of the classrooms, like I said, and we don't have a lot of the buildings fixed, like I said, the way they're supposed to be. Soap in the bathroom. I mean, come on. We can't go there. So,
and I recognize, and people believe that we have all of that what we need in Jersey City, and I do think that there is a great deal of talent in Jersey City and a great deal of dedication on the part of the educators. However, I also know, and since we are doing quotes, a quote that came to mind: "There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy." And I know that what we must do is broaden our horizons. We are going to have our students who will be subject to more than Jersey City, to more than New Jersey. We have to prepare them for a global economy. We have to make sure that we are informed and aware of the cutting-edge understandings of expectations. And while it does not say that we do not have talent in Jersey City, that is not the point. The point is that we want to bring the best thinking. When we call it a residency model, it is very much like a doctor's residency. And the idea is that I can't imagine anyone in this room or beyond who would want a doctor who only trained in one place, who was satisfied with the learning that was acquired in one place. If we have the opportunity, someone came up to me earlier and said, well, yes, she was in a really good hospital. She was in Mount Sinai. That's not taking anything away from what goes on in Jersey City and the institutions, but it is about wanting to be sure to tap into where we can the best.
Gerald Lyons, who will also be joining the board, spoke out against the agenda item funding 7 participants in the New Leaders Incorporated Aspiring Principals program at roughly $60,000 per participant, questioning how many spots would be open to district employees, adding that it would be cheaper to look in-house for the leaders of the future.
Leadership Institute, Principal Residency Program. There is scant information provided on this policy that would cost the district over $600,000 per year, except that this program will run up to 5 years and cost over $3 million. My first concern is how many people will be selected from within our own schools. With thousands of devoted employees, I cannot believe that we would not be able to fill these spots in-house. I would not vote on this contract until this was clarified. Hire from within. Reward those that have devoted years of their lives to our children. We need not look outside of our schools for the leaders of tomorrow, and I believe we can do it less expensively in-house.
Board member Marilyn Roman questioned the donors to the Jersey City Fund for Excellence and Equity, which include hedge fund manager David Tepper and Goldman Sachs Chief Diversity Officer Edith Hunt, that paid for the program administered by New Leaders Incorporated, which she claimed was connected to the Broad Academy.
I voted for this, but there wasn't as much information as that we're getting now. And I don't like the company that you're hiring, because I know that the Broad people are in that, and some other people too are in there. They're venture capitalists, some of them. I've looked up all the names of those companies, And I don't like that idea. I don't think that that should be something that we should do in education. I want to move us forward. We had an Eclipse program that was all for teachers within the school district. That went by the boards. That was free to the teachers and to everyone in the school district. And Aldo did a very good job of it. If we need to do something else, we should be able to find another way to do it. Because we do need good principals, and we don't always get them. But we need to be able to do it in a way that isn't going to compromise us in any way with people coming in, because it's changing the tenor of what's happening in this district, and it's something that I don't care for personally.
Board President Sangeeta Ranade responded by saying that there are 0 examples of a struggling school becoming a high-performing school without a strong leader, and added that the program was open to high-performing employees in the district and new principals from outside of Jersey City.
There are 0 examples in this country of a struggling school becoming a high-performing school if it doesn't have a strong leader at its helm. And it's not an easy role to fill. I mean, there are literally 0 examples. And one of the things we always talk about in Jersey City is that we have these pockets of excellence. But it's not good enough to have pockets of excellence. We should be doing something that allows every school to be successful. And we can't do that if we don't have great leadership. We've actually seen it in the last 2 years where some of our schools have seen dramatic improvements in their performance. We didn't change the students, we didn't change the staff, but we put in principals that could actually take the energy in that school and harness it and direct the resources towards improving student achievement. And that is what the Leadership Institute does, is it identifies high-performing employees and creates a career path for them so that they can become principals and that they can actually get the support that they need to become a very high-performing principal. It's also a program for any new incoming principal that might come from outside of Jersey City. It was so compelling that we knew we couldn't fund it fully out of the district, and that's why there was a desire and a need to get external funding to support it in the initial stages, and then ultimately will get funded fully out of the district's operating budget. But I do want to just recognize that the reason why there was so much money donated to the foundation to support the Leadership Institute is because it was so compelling. And while the donors are interesting, what's more interesting are the board members that sit on the Jersey City Fund for Equity and Excellence. They came out, there are 4 initiatives that the fund is hoping to support, but actually it's the Leadership Institute that is the focus at the moment. And the people that are sitting on the board, on the Jersey City Fund for Equity and Excellence board at the moment are Dr. Lyles, who's a non-voting member, Sue Henderson, who's the president of NJCU, Paul Silverman, who is a developer and also the head of the I Love Jersey City Public Schools Festival, Jersey City Public Schools Committee, Edie Hunt, who was one of the most senior women at Goldman Sachs and is now a retired partner. And just today or yesterday, Senator Sandy Cunningham has agreed to sit on that board. And the reason is because the potential in Jersey City is so great. But I have to tell you, without the Leadership Institute, that potential diminishes significantly. We have 40 schools, we have a number that are struggling, and they need that leadership. And so these votes, as they were important in November 2013, as it was important in March 2014, it's important now. And there is a lot riding on getting the right leadership at all of our schools.
Gina Vernabello, who ran for a spot on the board with Lyons and Richardson in the past election, expressed their concerns as a parent with PARCC testing.
Recently, I attended one of Montclair's Board of Education meetings, and they were on the agenda. They had a reading for opting out on the PARCC testing, and I'm wondering if this board is ever going to have that on, your agenda at some point, at least, an option for people, parents like me who have a child in 3rd grade who might want to opt out of that test, and what the policy could be changed so that children can not take the test and not be penalized for it. And I see other districts like Bloomfield and Delran, they're already, parents are fighting against this, and I'd like to see us going with them too. I think a lot of parents in this district are not aware of what the PARCC testing is. I took a sample of it just to see what my child's going to be taking, and I thought it was very difficult. The whole process of using a computer, if you're not used to typing, can be very hard. So I think it's something, to consider.
Hope Blackburn, General Counsel of Jersey City Public Schools, said that the district cannot opt out because of funding issues, but that it was otherwise a matter of parental conscience.
Yeah, and I want to be very clear about something. The district may not permit the opt-out. What the policy that I did look at with the Montclair policy said that the district's response should be in an educationally appropriate manner. The commissioner has issued a letter that advises all of the districts that there is no provision in state law that permits opt-out. And the State Board of Education also passed a resolution that so advised all of the districts. In addition, in the commissioner's letter, it was referenced the state law that, in fact, should a district actually participate in the opt-out, it jeopardizes not just some of the district's state funding, but all of the district's state funding. With that being said, although the district may not, it is always a matter of parental conscience whether or not you permit your children to participate.
I'm Michael Shurin with Hudson County View, the eye of the community.